Isn't it amazing on how much we can change in just a year? It's been breathtaking. Last March, I don't think I would have taken any communists seriously. I mean, I didn't even think there were communists. Is that naive of me? Let alone crazy groups like the one I showed you this week. Show the bald communists that we've been showing this week. Love this guy.
We will take your insurance companies. We will take the farms in this country. We will shut down the military apparatus in this country.
And of course we have, wait a minute, isn't Van Jones bald too? Are all communists
How's that capitalism working for you? How's that capitalism working for you this year? How is that capitalism working for you this year?
There's no picture of him here, but I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, he's bald. I'm not sure if that's a trend we should look at. Bald people may all be communist. It's a theory I'm working on. How many failures in history does it take to finally put the communist idea to rest? It's like the creators of Pets.com coming to us and going, yeah, we have an idea. Pets.com. No. You know, we seem to toy with the adoption of certain main parts of these failed systems. Okay. Pets.org. No pets on the internet. It's like the redistribution of wealth or the all-powerful unions. I played a little bit of this video for you yesterday. It came from Breitbart.com. It's really one of my favorite union thugs. I mean, the guy should have been in the Untouchables. He's brilliant, especially with that purple tie. Andy, sharp looking. He's the president of SEIU. Here he is laying out the real motives behind the union.
We are at a historic crossroads. We are at the historic crossroad, I think, economically in my lifetime, in terms of what a new president is trying to do, and a different way we're going to try to evaluate the economy. So all of a sudden, we are witnessing the first new American economic plan. Led by the government, not necessarily led by the private sector.
Could you freeze this, please? Freeze this, please. Look at this. New American economic plan, led by the government, not necessarily led by the private sector. It's new. All of a sudden. Wow. Since capitalism and companies caused all of the world ills, we need to implement now a new government, a new global government to fix it. Does that sound like anything you... Andy Stern is already putting in place all of that for you. Thanks, Andy. But how will they measure against all the fabulous successes? Oh, they have a new metric. It's the new American economic system. Here it is.
We now have a new metric. You know, the president says he wants to judge the new economy, whether it increases the number of people in the middle class, whether we have shared prosperity, not just whether we have growth, which is a fundamental different philosophy than we've seen in our country up to date.
Yes.
And clearly government has a major opportunity to distribute wealth through the EITC, through tax policies, through minimum wages, through living wages. Okay. The government has a role in distributing wealth or social benefits.
You've
like
said
Medicare,
too much.
Medicaid,
You've said too much, really, Andy. You're blowing the cover here. Really? America, let me ask you this. Do you believe that capitalism is dead? Do you? Do you believe that companies are evil? I think some of them are. Some of them aren't. Pets.com, that's it. Will bigger government or global government fix it? Does government share prosperity? Do you notice what did he say there? He said, we have a new metric here. We want to see if the numbers in the middle class are growing. Okay? All right, now hang on just a second. Well, you could do that without any growth whatsoever by taking money from the rich and giving it to the people in the middle class. Hey, there's more people in the middle class. Yes, people who used to be rich. Shouldn't we bring the people who are poor into the middle class? That's usually what happens, you know, in America. Do you believe in this fundamental different philosophy our government is taking now? Because this is the first time I've ever heard of this. This is the first time. I mean, I knew. You got to be an idiot to not see it. I'm so sorry to inform you, Mr. and Mrs. American, it doesn't matter what you think, because you're not the president of a very powerful union. Watch.
We are at a historic crossroads. We are at the historic crossroad, I think, economically in my lifetime, in terms of what a new president is trying to do and the different way we're going to try to evaluate the economy. So all of a sudden, we are witnessing the first new American economic plan, led by the government, not necessarily led by the private sector.
Does the government do a better job than the private sector? I mean, have you gotten your driver's license? Do you think the nation is going to be saved by people who run the post office? An organization, I'm not kidding you. You know, people complained about the long lines at the post office? This is a true story. Do you know how they solved it? Not kidding you. They removed the clocks. That like that's going to make a difference. Because you're standing there and you look at the clock and you're like, hey, I've been waiting here 15 minutes. If they take the clock away, you have no idea. You could be standing there for 3 days and you'd have no idea. Like, no, this line it was a breeze. Those are the people that are going to control our economy. It doesn't get more Marxist than what he's talking about. A new economic plan led by the government, not by the private sector. Democrats, is this the change you voted for? Is this the change you wanted? Workers of the world unite. Remember, this is the guy who visits the White House more than any other, Andy Stern, Obama's newest appointee to the Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform. Call me jingoistic if you want, but can somebody explain to me how inviting the head of a union that is designed to help the global worker is going to help the American worker? The president is wrong. He said that the worst is behind us. America, I beg you, please, don't be frivolous with your money. Please. The worst is still in front of us. There's a huge mountain to climb, and these people are making it even bigger. It is easy to see as long as we look at the facts. Long term, we're staring down the barrel of debt measured in 15 digits. And our answer is to spend our way out of a financial crisis. What our government is doing doesn't make sense unless you look at the situation through the eyes of a progressive or a Marxist or a union that just wants a return on their investment. They are setting up for a time when they can say, see, the system is broken. Capitalism is run amok. Oh, it was a fun ride, but this system hasn't worked. May I offer you some Marxism? Can I show you the robust Chinese model? Oh, Glenn, that would never happen. Don't say that. Oh, it never happened. We're America. It'll always be like this. It's never been like this in America, in the world. In the history of the world, our freedom is a flash of brilliance. It's here and it's gone. If we stand up, if we question with boldness, if we speak without fear, if we know our own history and why our Constitution was written the way it was, if we know who we are as individuals, we're going to be okay. But let me ask you this. In any of these clips, any clips you ever hear from Washington, do you hear Washington or Jefferson? I hear Marx and Mao, but no Madison or Franklin. Leave the Mao out. Leave the global government. Hello, America. Can I ask you an honest question? Are you as sick and tired as I am of having to figure out how to spend almost half of the money that you work for? I mean, what a hassle. Oh, luckily, the government is constantly looking for new ways to take our cash and turn them into fabulous programs that we'll never use. Oh, it's great. Hey, I got a new one. The FCC has just proposed that we spend $9 billion to make sure that you can stalk your former high school girlfriends on Facebook. Okay, I'm kidding. No. They just want to spend the $9 billion so that you can stalk your former high school girlfriends on Facebook more quickly. You see, we have a national tragedy developing. It's true. Based on the FCC's own numbers. If you have children, ask them to leave the room because this is going to be pretty shocking and horrifying. Let me draw the face here of a sad little girl. I can tell she's a girl because she's in a weirdly shaped dress and she's crying. A full 4% of Americans don't have access to high-speed internet because they live in rural areas. Let me draw a little horse here. That's a weird tail. He's a deformed horse. He went in for tonsillectomy, and because he didn't have insurance, they did this to his tail. Damn those insurance companies for horses.